Sardines. We all know how healthy these oily fish are, but how good are the ones they put in our tins? Are we better off just eating fresh?
Which sardines are better for me, the tinned ones or the fresh ones?
I'm not an expert in this particular area.
We would recommend that the fresh fish is the healthier option, because they're a lot fresher out of the ocean.
Do you used to notice any difference between them?
I don't eat them, so I'm not sure.
You don't eat sardines? What's wrong with you? You want to get yourself out there and get sardines on toast for lunch.
The search for sardines starts in Portugal.
So I've come all the way to Portugal with my tin of sardines from the UK to find out what goes in them. Hola!
Kate's come to Sines, just south of Lisbon.
Hola! This trawler boat's been out all night fishing for sardines. And it looks like they've got a whole boatload of the stuff.
The Portuguese have a love affair with sardines. They eat them by the shoal and export them all over the world. This lot belongs to Lawal.
Look at that fresh fish. This sardine, same, this can. See? A lovely, lovely big fish, as big as this, will go in here. Really? See, I thought it was going to be the little kind of cheap, little kind of tiddlers, the kind of rubbish fish. They're not so good.
No, not true.
Not true?
Not true.
So it's not just the rejects that get canned. They say it's the cream of the catch.
Whose boat is this that we've just seen come in?
It's mine.
Why weren't you on there last night, grafting with the rest of them?
I don't like.
You don't like?
I don't like.
What?
The ocean is for fish, not for me.
I'm disappointed.
Sorry.
Sardines are heralded as a superfood, packed full of omega-3 oils and vitamins. But most of these fresh fish are destined for the tin. Kate's on her way to one of Portugal's biggest sardine canning factories to see for herself how they cram them into our cans.
I tell you what, you do not need a map to find this place. It absolutely stinks of fish.
Hello, good morning.
Ah, hello, my name's Kate.
Hi, Christina.
Christina. Sergio.
Antonio. Nice to meet you.
Antonio.
At this factory, 20 tons of sardines are processed every day.
No, but it's a good smell.
Fishy, yeah?
Here, in this line, the ladies take out the head, as you see, and also the tail.
Shall I try and do one? Oh, she's rinsing her scissors for me. Lovely. Okay, so I've got the fish, and I just go like this?
Yes.
Head off.
And the tail.
And the
Very
tail.
well, very well,
Try to pick it up.
very well.
In there?
All those heads and tails don't go to waste. Cats and dogs all over Europe enjoy them in their pet food. After the sardines are gutted, they are intensively steamed for 8 minutes and then settle into their new home. Tinning them by hand ensures only the best make it to the tin, and each delicate fillet remains intact.
You actually pack these by hand?
By hand, yes.
All by hand.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the most sardines you can squeeze in one tin?
3 sardines.
3. That's just 3. See, because you know in England we have that phrase, squashed in like a tin of sardines.
Yeah, we have the same here.
You have the same here?
We
But
say the
isn't
same
it
here.
strange? Because actually they look quite roomy.
They may be headless or tailless, but not one of them has been boned.
So how come you can leave the bones in there? I mean, is it okay for me just to eat the bones?
Yes, it's safe for you to eat because they are already cooked, but they are going to be even softer after the sterilization. Because the fish is going to suffer some pressure and some more heat, and then all the flesh and the bones will be softer.
So it's the pressure and the heat that really softens the bones.
The oil or sauce goes in and the lid is sealed before the cans head to an enormous pressure cooker to be sterilised.
How long do they go in there for?
About 40-45 minutes, because no preservatives or colorings are added, so this is the way we preserve the product. Lunchtime.
Lunchtime?
Yeah, lunchtime.
Wow, you're not going to miss that, Belle. What's lunch in Portuguese?
Almost.
Almoço. Almoço, Dinesh? Yeah. What did she just say?
Eat and drink some beer.
Eat a big fish and drink some beer. Lovely.
So every sardine gets beheaded, gutted, steam blasted and sterilised. Later on, Kate finds out if after all this process, can they still be good for us?
Yes, I'm sure. Really? Yeah, really.
It's a favourite in our Chinese takeaway. But how much do we really know about the ducks we eat?
There are 4 calls ahead of you.
Your call is important to us. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
We almost went off and made a cup of tea.
Sorry, it's just that we are busy at the moment.
I've got a question about duck. I've got 2 lovely duck legs.
Yeah.
Not personally. Is it wild though? Is it a wild duck?
I'm not really sure.
Couldn't tell you anything at all about that particular product.
Do they are they on the ponds and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I would think so. I mean, I think most of our goods are really about eco-friendly as possible.
Is this like the ducks that you see in the park?
I know what you mean, whether or not it's the ones that you feed with the bread or the ones. I'm not quite sure. I don't know.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
To find out how the duck in my packet may differ from the duck on my pond, I'm going to meet licensed wildfowler Johnny Stevenson.
How you doing, Johnny?
Good to meet you.
Nice to see you.
This is Ida.
Hello, Ida.
We can't actually shoot any because it's not duck hunting season yet, but we can do a bit of duck spotting. We need to lure the ducks closer, and for that, you need to enlist the help of some duck body doubles.
If you're a duck flying over, look down here and there's like, oh look, there's Barry, and there's Jeannie, and there's Brenda, all floating in the water, must be safe. And you fly down, and then bang, we've got our duck.
You also need a good hiding place.
It's a bit like flower arranging, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit like that. Not quite as pretty, but sit down. Lady, sit.
The thing is that we've just got to sit, haven't we? Wait.
We have, yeah.
So how long does it usually take you to get a duck?
Anywhere between 10 minutes and a day.
Really? Because it's a wild animal and it's living on our waterways and it's doing its daily business, flying around, quite active, does that have an effect on the meat?
I would say it's a lot less fatty than what your farm meats would be.
You're right.
Obviously, the biggest problem with game is age. You know, you can shoot a duck which is coming to the end of its life, and it's going to be tougher.
Right, come on, you ducks. So is there anything else we can do to attract them? You got any duck calls?
This one here, one of my favourites, which I think you'll quite enjoy.
You didn't buy this from Ann Summers, did you?
I didn't know.
You do sort of like.
Yeah. Now the idea of this is.
This is a bit weird. 2 grown men in a camp with a.
There's a pair of ducks there. So if we might be able to call them with our mouths this way. I think you just scared them off.
You can only hunt wild duck 5 months of the year, and with duck increasing in popularity, there's just not enough of it to go around. So if we're not munching on mallard, what type of duck are we eating? I'm visiting the Telmara Duck Farm.
Hello. Hello, Jim.
How you doing?
I'm
Good
Chris.
to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Now, ducks. Want to see your ducks?
You want to see some ducks,
Yes.
right? Well, they start life in here. Here we go.
Oh, wow. So here they are, little ducklings. Sweet. Look.
Chris Patmore produces 2,000 oven-ready ducks every week for UK butchers and meat wholesalers.
There we go.
Look at that little chap.
6 days old, and their life is about 48, 49 days, which seems short period of time, but genetically they've been developed so well they grow like mad.
Even this small size,
Yeah.
quite a lot of weight to it.
Yeah, at 6 days, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that one there, Jim.
These ducks are a specially bred variety, a cross between a Peking and an Aylesbury. The reason is to grow fat fast.
Right, off you go with your mates. Right, let's go and see them as they get bigger.
I know what you're thinking. Somewhere around here must be a very large duck pond.
Thank you.
Wow, much larger now.
These ones here are 42 days.
Right, because you think of ducks in a pond swimming about, but you don't provide... There's no ponds and stuff in here, is there?
Not at all, no. Poultry that can get in its own water, you know, they'll defecate in it, and in no time at all you've got all sorts of bacteria and goodness knows what.
So the ducks don't need a pond, then?
I don't think they do. Some people will argue they would.
But say if you were to appease people and say, right, we're going to build a type of pond that would fit in this system and stop the water being dirty, we're going to have a filtration system, what would that mean to the end price of the duck?
Probably 10 times what it was. It's just not viable. No way.
So for us to have our duck and pay the price we want, we can't have expensive ponds with posh filtration?
No, certainly not. I just don't see any point in it, really.
So what would happen then if you had wild ducks in here to rear them instead?
Well, probably wild ducks would take 4 or 5 months to grow, and they'd be half the size of these.
And then be much more expensive to buy?
Well, exactly.
So that's how some farm ducks live, without even a puddle in which to paddle. In fact, only around 12% of supermarket ducks have ever lived on water. Later on, we'll discover why this super duck is such a success.
So nothing's really ever wasted then?
Only the quack.
Only the quack.
Brits spend over £800 million on pasta each year. Supermarket shelves stock a mind-boggling selection, and the sale of the fresh stuff has boomed. But which should we pick?
Excuse me, what do you reckon the difference is between dried pasta and fresh pasta?
Pass. That was quicker to cook.
Fresh or dried?
Fresh, mate. The freshness seems, in my mind, to be better tasting.
Right. Fresh pasta's always more expensive.
No, because it tastes nicer.
We're poor students, so I guess we'd go for the cheaper one.
Yeah.
Dried spaghetti cost as little as 19p a pack, while the fresh stuff could cost you up to £2.20. But is fresh best?
Hi there. I was just wondering if you knew the difference between fresh and dried pasta.
I didn't really think that there was a difference. I only assumed that fresh pasta was only available if you were going to make it yourself.
Is one better than the other one?
Fresh pasta is probably a bit nicer.
What do you use?
So I tend to use dry pasta.
Thanks, mate. Bye-bye. Bye.
What Matt needs now is a bona fide Italian.
Hello. Hi. Welcome. Matt.
Luigi.
Nice to meet you, Luigi.
Pleasure.
Hello. Nice to meet you. Proper Italian as well.
Yes, Italian. Where do you like to start then?
I'd like to start at the beginning, maybe.
Okay.
This pasta manufacturer in North London makes 90 different fresh varieties for hotels and restaurants. They know their rigatoni from their ravioli.
What pasta do you like to make?
Whatever you like.
Spaghetti?
Yeah,
Okay. We do 2 different types of pasta.
Right.
One is egg pasta, which is done with flour, semolina, and egg.
Okay.
And one is dry pasta,
Yeah.
and that is done with only semolina, touch of flour and water.
So there's no egg in...
No egg at all, no.
So what do people use in Italy? Do they
We use
all
them
make
both.
fresh pasta?
Yes, and we use both. We use fresh pasta with egg, and we make dry pasta to keep for rainy days, you know.
The vast majority of fresh pasta that you find at your supermarket is made like Hercules with egg.
Fresh pasta is more filling. It's got much more proteins, and it can be...
Fresh is more filling?
Yes, because you got all the egg. You got about 30% egg,
Right.
then each 100 grams of pasta. If it was serving as a main course, I will use a fresh pasta.
Right.
If I was serving it as a starter, I will use a dry pasta.
Really?
So in fact, there are 2 different products which should be served for different reasons.
How would you describe the difference in the taste and the texture of dried and fresh pasta?
On egg pasta, there's a lot of difference.
Right.
Egg pasta, when it's fresh, is like in eating a fresh egg product, and you can taste the freshness of the egg.
Yeah.
You get a different feeling, and you get a different texture, a smoothness on the pasta.
So there you go. That explains why it costs more.
I'm enlightened. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. I'll let you get on with your day. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Now, back to sardines. In Portugal, Kate's seeing the process a sardine goes through from net to can. Now she's come to meet the factory's nutritionalist to find out if there's any goodness left.
So when it comes to eating sardines out of a tin, are they good for you?
Yes, of course, because when you process the fresh fish and then go to the sterilizations, you can eat the bone, and the bone is a lot of calcium.
So by eating the bones, which by this point are quite soft,
yes,
I'm getting more calcium.
More calcium.
And that's not the only plus. When you grill or fry a fresh sardine, the water in the fish evaporates, losing some of the vitamins and minerals. In the tins, none of the goodness escapes.
Essentially, a sardine out of a tin is better for me than a fresh sardine.
Yes, I'm sure.
Really?
Really. And no preservatives.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I'm sure. And no preservative. Okay?
No preservatives.
No preservatives.
If I want to get, you know, more bang for my buck and eat a sardine that's going to be better for me and get more nutrients from it, then this is what I should be eating.
Sure.
It's totally counterintuitive,
Sardines.
isn't it?
So, turns out the lowly tin sardine is even better for us than we thought. And what's more, they don't go off like the fresh ones. In fact, the older, the better.
I don't want you to leave Portugal without visiting a shop that I know in Lisbon. And they have the best canned sardines that I know.
Wow, vintage sardine.
Vintage sardines.
I'm looking forward to that. Old bones, yum.
Sardines are an inherent part of Portuguese culture. They even have an annual festival dedicated to these slippery superstars. Kate's headed to a tin sardine emporium. These guys have been selling them for over 80 years.
How you doing? Tiago. Look at all these sardines. It's almost like coming into a wine shop. So what, the older the sardine, the tastier it is?
It's a different taste. You know, kind of when a wine matures, it has a different taste.
So what is the oldest sardine that you've ever eaten?
Oh, I've eaten sardines with 12 years old.
No way!
And they were really good.
Really?
The best ones I've ever tasted.
It's time to peel back the tins. These sardines are over 2 years old.
So what would you advise for people at home? I mean, if I bought sardines from you, would you suggest I eat them tomorrow or leave them a little bit longer?
I would suggest you buy twice as much and eat some tomorrow.
Okay.
And leave the other for, I don't know, a couple of years later.
Really? Really good.
Was hoping you would say that.
I could buy this tin from you today,
Yeah.
take it home, leave it in the cupboard, and you think they'd probably be the best sardines I ever tried.
I would say yes.
Seriously, I'm gonna stock up for my 60th birthday party.
Well, you should. And it's going to be a great party.
Yeah.
I've been twitching in Suffolk and spotted some wild ducks. But these aren't the ducks most of us eat. I've also seen how some farm ducks live out their 49-day lifespan. And these are at the end of their 49th day.
So ducks straight from the farm, and then hung on the line. These ducks we're killing at the moment are 48 days old.
Right, OK.
Which is going to give us an oven-ready bird of about 2.8.
2.8 kilo bird.
Oven-ready.
OK, let's go. So the ducks have come through, they had the head taken off. They're looking more like a bird that would be in the oven.
Ready for eating, yeah, they're coming through there now. They'll have their neck taken out and their crop and windpipe, and then they have their insides taken out. Bird comes round, still got its feet on.
So where do the feet go then?
The feet go to Vietnam or China.
So nothing's really ever wasted then?
No, only the quack.
Only the quack.
This is clearly a really efficient way of producing a duck with a guaranteed quality of meat. And it's available all year round, unlike its smaller wild cousin, who can only be hunted 5 months of the year. But does all this flying around and paddling make a tough-tasting bird?
Right, enough talk about duck. It's time to cook some and eat it.
Greetings.
How you doing?
Very well. Come on in.
David Grimwood regularly has duck on his restaurant menu.
So, David, what are we going to do today?
Well, we're going to compare the flavours of the mallard, the wild duck, and then farmyard duck.
David's cooking a breast from each bird without seasonings or sauces, so we can test each duck's natural flavour.
Which one should we taste first then, David?
The farmyard duck.
OK, let's have a little taste. Great. It's what you'd expect from a duck that you'd buy from the supermarket.
Yeah.
But I quite like it.
Now, this fella, this is our wild boy. Now, he's much darker. Close your eyes, you're on the estuary, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Hear the geese, see the ducks.
Now, the thing is, when it comes to meat like this, people might think, oh, it's a bit chewy, but that's half the pleasure for me.
Yeah.
It's a wild animal, and you're getting the flavour of the countryside. But at the end of the day, it's horses for courses, isn't it?
Yep.
You could consider these as just variants on a theme.
Very
If you
much so.
like it nice and wild and gamey, then go for your wild duck. But if you want a big duck to feed the family and a duck that isn't going to break the bank, then you go for your farm duck. Yeah.
But don't take anything away from that boy. He's lovely.
Wild duck.
Yeah.
It's a corker.
Yeah.
We'll have a little bit more.